So I finally got the one everybody's been asking me for. I've got the FVKD 3.5 gram THC rosin disposable. Let's go. So these are the reviews I look forward to doing. Now, don't get me wrong, I love doing my nicotine vape reviews, but this is where it's at. This is where I get excited. And tonight I've got a new brand that everybody's been telling me about. You've got to get the FVKD, the exotics, and you know, this thing is called so many different things. I was trying to rattle it all off earlier and I just couldn't do it. So let's just go through it one by one. It is a sativa and it is the Alaskan Thunder Premium Concentrate THC Rosin. That's a lot of stuff going on there in one vape. And let's flip it over. Now there's everything on the back. And everybody tells me that this thing is supposed to be pretty damn strong, so I hope so. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that I've been on a search for the strongest legal THCA vape. And so far, I'm still on this Muhammad's cart. The cart, not the disposables. And I found that this is the most potent thing so far. I've also tried the Turn THC, and there are videos on all of these on my channel just over the past few weeks recently. But I have tried this Turn THC where you've got the pods in it. And then recently we did the Big Chief Melted Diamonds. That's what I've still got on my battery right now. So we're going to see if this guy can top any of these, and I sure hope that it can. Got a cool looking box, so that should mean something, right? I like cool packaging. Let's open it up and get into it. Now, it looks like this is going to be the older style, kind of the stick design, which you don't see that often. I think why we switched from that is because people find it easier to put it in their pocket. All right, yeah, so there it is. That's just man, that's like the vapes that I was getting a year or two ago. That shape, certainly haven't forgotten it. All right, whoo, it smells strong, even outside. With that thing, you know, a foot and a half away from my face, I can smell it. Still can I? Oh yeah, smells like weed, but a little bit different. In all honesty, you can kind of smell the plastic on the device. That mixed with some weed smell. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Although I think that the THCA vapes of all vapes should be discreet. So I like that it's all black and it doesn't have a bunch of neon lights and fidget spinners. We don't need to advertise that on this kind of vape, do we? But it's classy looking. I like that logo. You know, it's very simple. Okay, so just a viewing window, real straightforward there. And it looks like we have a draw adjustment on the side. Yeah, and just one button on the front. My guess is it's like anything else, 5 times to turn it on. Does it light up? Well, okay, it's hitting. Okay, ooh, smells strong, smells good. Anyways, it's hitting, and that was open. Yeah, I've got that draw all the way open. Let's do it. Let's keep it about halfway. What I've been doing on these new vapes when I try these out is I'm testing the water a little bit so I can get a little bit of a feel for it and not just taking a huge blinker right off the bat, because the idea is hopefully one of these days we'll find one that you don't have to do that with, that you can just hit it like you normally would. So let's try that with this one. Here we go, the FVKD Exotics THC Rosin. Here we go. Ooh. Yeah, I just took a couple light MTL hits that time. That's really smooth, guys. And it tastes like weed, but it does have a little bit of a flavor to it. I feel like they probably put some terpenes or something like that in there. It's just got a little bit more of a pleasant flavor than what I think you get with some of the ones that are just all weed taste. And maybe it is just that strain of weed that just tastes that good. But it's not offensive at all, and it's not scratchy on the throat. And I can actually feel it a little bit already, just off those couple little puffs there, which might mean that this, I'm jumping ahead. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting excited. Wishful thinking. That's what it is. I know it, because I always get disappointed every time I try one of these. The last time that a vape blew my mind was the first time, and go back and watch my video on this one if you have not, guys, when I review the first Muhammad's cart. I took a hit off that and felt it instantly. And yeah, I can feel this slightly. Not much, So it's not going to be a one-hitter quitter. I still don't think I'm going to find that. Maybe. Still hope I will. But let's do it right. Let's do a blinker. Because you got to, right? You have to. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. That's what I always say. And I also want to see what that blinker timer is like on this one. Although it's going to be impossible to tell, really, because it doesn't have a light on it. I don't see where could it possibly be? There's no spot for a light. Sometimes you can tell just from hitting it, so we'll see if I can on this one. Anyways, here we go. Blinker FVKD Exotics. Here we go. There, it stopped. Waiting for that tickle. Wait. Now it's coming up, maybe? No? You know what? It probably doesn't have a bunch of THCP in it, because that's where I always get the tickle from. And yeah, I'm getting just a tiny bit of a rise up, but it's not making me want to cough like some of these other ones did, like this one did. This was super THCPE, and I can feel it. And this is also the first thing that I've vaped today. I always do that. I always give myself at least the day's worth of tolerance break. I'm not going to, well, I usually just vape once a day anyways. I don't normally vape and then go back to it later, because if I do that, it doesn't really work at all. For me, I get about one good go. Somebody asked me about that in the channel today. Let me know in the comments section if any of you guys have experienced this as well. What I've noticed is as my tolerance increases, the effects don't last as long as what they did when I had the lower tolerance. So it kind of hits you in both aspects of it. But I think I'm going to have to take another blinker off this one, guys, because as you can kind of tell, it's getting on me a little bit. I'm wanting to babble somewhat, but I'm not really feeling any physical effect at all. I don't feel any body buzz. Normally, I'll start to feel it through the tops of my thighs a little bit, but not here. Not on this one, not yet. But I feel like it's one that can get me there. I like how the buzz feels so far. I like the way it's going. It's just not nearly enough of it. So here we go. Let's just hit the damn thing. Yeah, I'd say that's when it stopped. You can kind of tell when it stops coming. Wow, guys, that's crazy. Smooth as could be. I would get way more choked up if I were hitting an Elf Bar or a Mr. Fogg. Like that, yeah, way more than this. This is smooth. And I'm not getting the come up, not getting the choky, tickly feeling. I kind of like that though, because that makes me think it's going to be a strong vape. But you know, guys, it's just nothing special so far. It just isn't. I don't know. I mean, I've hit it 3 times. So I would feel like 3 times, first vape of the day, I would really want it to be stronger than what it is. But what the hell, we're already into it. Buy the ticket, take the ride, like they say. So let's just keep hitting it. Here we go. I think it's got a pretty long timer, because I didn't feel that stop hitting till almost the very end there. And yeah, what is that, like 3, almost 4 blinkers, and I'm still not choked up from this thing. Starting to see a little bit crooked, but that's just because my eyes are getting dry, I think. I've recorded a couple in a row today, so that can tend to do that to me sometimes. And I'm feeling this a little bit more now after the 4th hit. You know, sometimes that's what it takes, and in fact, most of the time, that's what it takes. And I'm trying to find something I just remember, and maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just not going to find it, but I do remember hitting vapes and hitting, you know, pipes or whatever, and just a couple rips and getting, you know, 4th dimension. There's got to be something like that on the, and I'm sorry, my kitty, JD Vance, buddy, he's got corn dust all over him. Maybe not so much now, because the neighbors, that's what all this noise is in the background. It's harvest, and I live on the farm, and my only neighbor is also a farmer, and they're harvesting right now, so there is just grain dust just raining down like snow, and you get all this little pink dust all over everything. It's nasty. I had to wipe all this down before I started filming, but it's just something that you put up with. I love living out here. I'm not complaining one bit. And yeah, this is kicking in a little bit more now. It's getting me there, but man, I mean, we're not even halfway there really after 4 blinkers. So, you know, 5's a charm. That's not what they say, but that's what we're gonna do. So here we go. There, it stopped. Almost makes me want to cough a little bit now, but just a little bit. Definitely don't need to. Yeah, it's smooth. I'll give it that. I'll certainly give it that. Flavor-wise, yeah, it tastes good. A little like weed, maybe a little like something else, but not much. There's not much flavor to it, but it doesn't taste like distillate. It doesn't taste like those old Delta 8 vapes. Let me go ahead and clear my throat finally. So yeah, if you can take 5 blinkers off one before you gotta clear your throat, it's a pretty smooth vape. It's finally kicking in. It is, but man, it just took so much to get there, and I'm still not there. I would say I'm halfway there at this point. Getting a little forgetful, but I don't really feel that much of a buzz. I still don't feel any body buzz. I can feel just maybe, I don't know, it's just all in the head and not really that much of it. Just kind of a mild sense of euphoria. I feel a little aloof, but there just isn't any physical feeling to it at all. I'm trying, I'm looking for it, and I just don't feel it. Now that I think about this could explain possibly why it's so smooth, is that it's just not all that strong. It's one that you just have to hit a few times. Because as is with gummies, I say with gummies, the more bitter, the more better. Because more bitter means it's got more gas in it. With vapes, I find that sometimes it means that. But sometimes it could be fillers or terpenes or something that's not doing anything for you that makes it harsh. But sometimes just a very strong vape will just come across as harsh. So possibly why this is smooth is because it's weak. I shouldn't say weak. I'm not gonna say weak because I'm sitting here babbling on about it, but after 5 blinkers, I should be high after 5 blinkers. And I don't think I'm quite there. I'm halfway there. So let's compare it to the other ones, because that's kind of what I've set out to do with all of this. I would actually compare this a lot to this Turn THC, because this one I thought was super smooth, and I think the buzz on these two felt pretty similar, because the Big Chief was a bit rough and it was harder to hit, and even the cartridge seemed to work a little bit differently than the Muha. So I would say this one and this one, these two are favorites, and other than the Muha's still number 1. Then these two, number 2, and then the Big Chief is on the bottom out of all of these. But don't get me wrong, these are like, I'm going over the best ones out there right now. So if you walk into a vape shop, most of these you won't even find. You'll probably see the Muha, especially if you're in kind of my area of the country, like the Midwest. I think these are maybe more popular here, maybe not. Let me know. Any of you guys out in California, do you see Muha meds out there? I'd love to know. But these other ones, well, I did find this in a vape shop, but it was a very big vape shop, and it was the only one I've ever seen it in. And this I had to find on the internet. This I certainly had to find on the internet. So, you know, when I say that this is the weakest of the 3, this is going to beat most anything in most vape shops from what I've found. All the ones that I've found from brands, even the, what I used to consider the better brands, like Delta Extracts, Torch. I used to think that those were the higher end, and no, I don't believe so. And perhaps there's something higher end than this. If there is, in fact, I know of one that it's only a ½ gram vape, so that should be pretty potent. And I do have one of those on the way, I believe. So anyway, so that's how they all stack up so far. And I'm not saying that this is not a good vape, guys, because it is. Like I said, these are all top notch. It's just not as good as the Muha, and it doesn't beat the Muha. So that was the original intention. Still trying to beat the Muha, or at least keep up with it. It's nice that it's a 3.5 gram disposable. It's nice that it hits really well, although the Muha makes a 3.5 gram disposable that is smaller than this. Fits in your pocket a lot better. So I think they've got them beat on that as well. Perhaps these guys do carts. I don't know. Do they make carts? Surely they do, right? They make disposables, I would imagine. Because the Mohawk carts are stronger, in my opinion, than what the disposables are. Perhaps the same would hold true here with this FVKD exotics. I'm just messing around, guys, but I don't like to curse a lot on the channel. I do try to keep it down just because, you know, I know that I'm not a channel that people are watching with their kids, or at least I hope to God they're not. But anyways, I like to try and keep it just somewhat respectable, I suppose. Yeah, it's a good vape. As I said, it's in the class of these other ones, and it just doesn't beat the Mohawk. Something out there has to. We'll see. But I think I'm gonna wrap this one up, guys. It's starting to get dark. I'm losing light here, so we're gonna wrap this one up. But thank you for whoever recommended this one. I do appreciate that. Like I said, it's another option, kind of like the Big Chief is, because it's good to have different blends to rotate between. I think that's good for the old tolerance. So there we go, guys. FVKD. Again, my name's Eric. Hope to see you all next one. Bye-bye.